KXVI just dropped his brand new plugin, Toneflx, and everyone's talking about it, but is it really worth it? I tested it in real beats, and I'm going to give you an overview of my thoughts of what it does well, what could be better, and if it deserves a spot in your workflow. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing that's most important is sound quality, and I think the sound quality of this plugin is amazing. It can take your boring synth sounds and transform them into things that sound super dope and analog, and it does exactly what it's advertised to do. So sound quality, 10 out of 10. The next thing would be ease of use. So let's jump into the project and I'll show you some things. I'm going to show you one of my favorite features. We hop over here, looking at the Toneflx plugin. We have this generate button here, and you can click this choose your FX idea, and basically you have the option. You can go through chorus, the resampler, distortion, tape, tremolo, reverse, delay, reverb, and you have all these different descriptions here of the type of sound you're wanting to achieve, and so you can select those. I'm not going to actually do it here because it's on our project, but like you could just select your things you want, hit generate, and it's going to create an effects chain for you based off of that. Not using AI, it's just taking those keywords that you see there and matching them up with the database. I don't know the exact like coding behind it, but it's like picking out things from a pre-selected database. It's not actually generating new stuff. There's probably a little bit of RNG with it as far as certain parameters, but it's going to get you into a zone where you get close to the sound you want within a couple generations, and then you can tweak things as necessary using the advanced view. Super cool. Probably the best feature on here if you're wanting to just experiment with things and get exactly what you're wanting. So you see we can hop over to the advanced view, and it shows you the 8 different pedals that are in there, the 8 different effects, so you can come through here and make any little adjustments that you're wanting to do. Toneflx comes loaded up with a pretty good amount of presets. If you buy the artist series expansion bundle, you get even more. Just using those, you can do quite a bit and achieve some really cool sounds. I've played around with this for hours, just messing around, and there's so many things you can do with it. There's no way I could possibly cover it all in a single video, but I would say at a base level, it's easy to use, but there is so much potential in it that like the skill ceiling for it is like super high. If you really want to dive deep and do it manually, there's so much you can do with it. So for ease of use, I would give it, probably a modest 7. It's not the world's easiest plugin if you really want to get things just how you want it, but it's not that hard to use. And there's plenty of presets that tell you basically what they're going to do with your sound. Nothing that I think is like super complicated. The one thing that would be nice is if there was a way to favorite presets like out of this list here and move them into a separate section. Now, granted, you could save them all into a different folder and then have that in your user and third-party preset area, but it's a little just tedious. It'd be nice if there was just a way to star this preset and it automatically goes to your favorites folder. That'd be a cool upgrade. It's not a make or break thing. It's not going to really, differ my opinion of the plugin as a whole, but just a little thing that would be nice. If you're enjoying the video so far, if you're getting value, make sure you drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss future videos like this. Leave a comment below. Tell me what your favorite effect plugin is. And make sure you stick around to the end of the video where I give you guys the demonstrations of how it sounds, because I have 2 examples from myself and another from a super talented loop maker that you really need to hear if you're considering buying this plugin. So my ease of use topics kind of bled into the next thing, which is features and capabilities. I've already said this thing is so versatile. There's so many different features that you can use coming in here, messing with each one of these individual plugins. Well, it's all one plugin, but you know what I mean, the different pedals inside the plugin, or using that generate feature. This generate feature is my favorite, like being able to just generate your own presets quickly and achieve the sound you're wanting to get. Super cool. So for features and capabilities, 10 out of 10. I think this thing is super awesome to use, and you can do so much with it. I don't think you're going to be limited to a certain genre or anything using this. Okay, so let's talk about who this plugin is for. Honestly, I think this plugin is good for just about anybody. Maybe like super beginners, it may be a little too advanced for. There's other things that you should probably be focusing on before diving into effects like this. But I think it's easy enough to use where you could utilize it and do some cool things with it. And it go all the way up to, you know, the top level producers. Like the things I've seen people do with this is amazing, and I don't think there's, you know, any like limitations. Like you're going to be able to go so far with this plugin and do so many things with it. The plugin that's probably closest to this would be like Effect Rack from Sound Toys, and you know, that's a little different the way it works and stuff. It doesn't have this generate feature where you get to pick out the sound you're trying to achieve and it basically curate that for you, and all you do is gotta make minor tweaks. So this is super awesome, and for the price, like blowing Sound Toys out of the water on price value. Like it's crazy. It's really a great value. That's what I'll say. All right, without further ado, let's jump into the sound examples. Okay, so the first thing I did when testing this was I wanted to take a melody that was kind of weak, not using the greatest sounds necessarily, basic melody, and see if I could make it into something that was cool and usable. And I think I achieved that. So let's listen to the before right here. Okay, so, you know, that top line keys, pretty dry, pretty boring. And what I did was I threw on, I used that generate feature, and I wanted a trippy like reverse sound. And you can see I named it here, trippy reverse. Toneflx, this is just my rendered out. Those keys ran through Toneflx, and all together it sounds like this. Okay, so you can tell that definitely spiced it up. We can listen to the Toneflx render by itself. Okay, so pretty awesome result, like first time using the plugin. I'm not gonna say like this is gonna sell you on it necessarily. I got a better example coming up, so stay tuned for that. But that was pretty cool. I had another instance that I threw on the keys for intro and different sections. Let me just solo this. So it kind of turns into more of a background texture. And yeah, it's just cool for A-B section. Okay, so that was my use cases on this, and it came out pretty cool. I'm not gonna say it's the world's best beat or anything like that, but for starting off, it was cool. So let's hop into my next example. Okay, so this one is much more Toneflx heavy. I started off, let's go to the beginning with this Rhodes here, and it's actually using one of the presets that comes from the Artist Series expansion. And basically what it is it has the Analog Lab preset ran through Toneflx chain, like all in one bundle. All you gotta do is drag it in and play it. So this is what that sounds like. Okay, so super vintage sounding Rhodes, sounds amazing. You got that little like wobble in there, a little dropout. Sounds super awesome. The next thing I added was this background moving synth, and again, this is one of those presets where it's the Analog Lab preset ran into Toneflx, done for you, just dragged it to the project. So this is what that sounds like. All right, and then the next thing I did was I brought in this horn, which is from Output, and let's just take off the Toneflx effect real quick and listen to that. And this still has Valhalla on it. I added Valhalla after the fact on this one, just 'cause I like the sound of Valhalla's vintage verb. But then we add the Toneflx, so you can hear it has a lot more texture, made it more vintage sounding. And then all together, those three elements sound like this. And then with the drums, okay, so you can tell with that, it handles those vintage sounds, creating that vintage feel very well. That's one of my favorite things that you can get out of Toneflx. And I added another thing, which was a master preset. It adds like some repeating sounds in like the background. It's super cool. So just listen to this real here. So you can hear that, like, it sounds like a perk bouncing back and forth. It's just the Rhodes, the snare, and the hi-hat getting put through this master preset. And it sounds super cool. So I did that for the verses. And listen with more drums here. So that preset just added more bounce. And again, this is Toneflx. Like, Toneflx is taking this, like, otherwise would probably be a pretty boring sounds, like if it didn't have Toneflx on it. And if that alone doesn't prove to you how great Toneflx sounds, let me bring in a loop from someone who actually knows what they're doing with loop making. I'm not the greatest loop maker ever. I never claimed to be. But I told my friend Honda to send me a loop that she did. I'll show you the before and after. And yeah, we'll get into that. Okay, so before Toneflx, we have this. And then after Toneflx, so both of these are definitely fire, right? Like, both are fire, but the Toneflx just has this extra texture on it. And all she did was just run each sound through some different Toneflx effects. I don't know exactly which ones, but like she said, it was super easy to do, and it just makes it sound cooler. Like, it just gives you that different texture, that different feel. And I think it's a level up. You let me know in the comments, what do you think? Before or after, better on that. I'm sure Honda would love to know. Make sure you go give her a follow on Instagram. So my final verdict is this plugin is definitely going to be part of my arsenal. I'm probably going to have to do a part 2 of this review because, man, I wanted to record this thing, put it out the night the plugin came out, but I got diving in and I was like, man, there's just too much here for me to explore, and I still feel like there's more to explore. I'm just scratching the surface of Toneflx right now, and there's so much I could do with it that even now, like, I know the plugin's good. I feel comfortable suggesting it to people. I know that there's so much more that I can explore with it. But none of this matters if your drums aren't hitting. So if you need to learn how to mix your drums, make sure you go click this video right here, and I'll see you next time.